Thank you. So return to hybrid in-person learning. Next slide. So just kind of, we will be returning, if approved, to where we left off. So special education schedules vary by program. Grades kindergarten through 8 will divide the day between AM and PM cohorts. Grades 9 through 12 will have full day Group A, Monday and Tuesday, Group B, Thursday and Friday, in-person schedules. Bloomfield preschool will resume as well. So it is the same format and system that we left when we went distance back in November. Next slide. So the proposal is for January 19th to bring back early on, seed, Blooming preschool, all students in K through 8, including ARP and FRP K through 8, Wing Lake, grades pre-K through 8, deaf and hard of hearing, Bowers Academy, Prep, and Blackhawk Extended Care. On January 25th, the plan is to bring back the International Academy. The reason for International Academy on the 25th is that is the start of their second semester. BHHS, or all Bloomfield Hills High School students, including ARP and FRP, grades 9 through 12, deaf and hard of hearing, will come back February 1st. And so probably the first question that I would have is, why is IA coming back before BHHS? As I mentioned before, on January 25th, that is the start of second semester for IA. At BHHS, January 25th and that week is the week of finals. Finals are scheduled for a half day. They're also scheduled to be online, so there's equitable opportunity for all students for their final experience. Additionally, based on our middle school and elementary school, knowing that the high school is having half days during that time, we wouldn't be able to provide transportation. 2/1 or February 1st is also the start of second semester for BHHS. So that is the rationale. Why January 19th for the rest of the groups? We told the community we would give everyone transition time as much as we possibly could. And we know also for a lot of our staff members, they'll need to line up daycare and things for their own children so that they're able to return back to work. I know everyone's anxious. There's no question about it. I'm working with the team. The goal is to propose dates that we felt were A, doable, and B, as fast as we could to get people back into buildings, again, as safely as possible. Next slide. So just kind of reviewing where we left off as far as how we're applying our metrics a little bit differently. We know we have two leading indicators, number of new cases and percent positive. Again, the vaccine provides a lot of hope. For me personally, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. We know that when the numbers are higher, we have less in-person learning. As the numbers improve and go down, we can have more in-person learning. So the first question is, well, what is that going to look like? When is that going to be? Those are things that we don't have a magic 8-ball that we can look into and have that answer right now. But keep in mind, even if we hit those additional thresholds where it says less in person, we are bringing people back to the less in-person model. That's the 6 feet of social distance. That's the half days K through 8. That's the AB rotation at the high school. That is the less in-person learning model as we bring our students back. Next slide, please. Secondary indicators, number of new COVID-19 hospitalizations, students in quarantine, staffing capacity, COVID-like and influenza-like illness. We know those are all there. Again, next question, and we talked about this earlier, when will we go back to distance? What would make us do that? If we can't staff a building, we would need to go back to distance in that building. Students in quarantine. If 85% of the classroom is in quarantine, we'll probably ask that class to go distance. If we have spread in the classroom and working with the Oakland County Health Division, and they say you need to go back to, distance, you need to shut that classroom, obviously we do it. If they say we need to close the building and go distance, we do it. So goal number 1 is to get our students back to in-person learning. Goal number 2 is that vaccines come on board, we get our staff vaccinated, we see those numbers come down. That gives us the opportunity to go to more in person. So coming back with our new metrics, the way we're applying them and the way things are structured, we plan to be back in school barring Oakland County Health Division because there's a case in a class or spread in the building or we can't staff, that we're back in person for some capacity in some way, one or another, the remainder of the school year. Next slide. High school athletics and activities. We're waiting on some additional guidance from the MHSAA. One thing that's going to come up is, well, hold on. There are some sports participating. So what is going on with all athletics and activities if we're following the MHSAA guidance? A couple things. The MHSAA has been working with the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. The decision was made between the two groups to allow a couple things. One, ski could take place as long as it was outside. If ski's outside, they remain 6 feet apart. They've allowed the football and volleyball and swim teams to return if you're still competing in the state tournament. These are fall sports. It's varsity level only. And when you talk about football and volleyball, you're talking about only a handful of teams. As part of that, working with the MHSAA and the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, part of that agreement is weekly testing, rapid tests for all the students involved. That is the basis on which they can come back. All other winter sports have been postponed. They have not started doing anything since November. In the next 7 days, there should be additional guidance about high school athletics and activities. Again, we're using the MHSAA guidelines for both our athletics and for our activity groups. And it does look like that new guidance is going to come out. I say the next 7 days. I wouldn't be surprised if it's much sooner than that. Next slide, please. Thank you.
Thanks, Todd.